Hello guys, Joker the Fool here, back at it again with the 66th episode of the Braxcast, and had, of course, another really fun live stream Braxcast Live where I did talk about the Zalen misprint a little bit. I'll go over some specific pages on that to really hammer it home, but to me, or at least the impression I'm getting from the fans, is that it's a big nothing burger, so we're going to be focusing mostly on the Art of Joe Bennett and showing off the really cool covers of Zalen that I got in last week, with, of course, this first one being cover A of Zalen. You got this really nice photorealistic shot of Zalen floating over the cosmos. You got like a Saturn-like planet there, a moon there. This is, of course, done by Kaio Cacao. Absolutely fantastic cover. Love to see it. So next, we've got the cover from Frank Fosco. This is the one that I used in my review, and this is the one that I'll be using to show off the misprint errors. Is, of course, the retro cover, cover B. Absolutely fantastic piece of retro art. Of course, you've got the Rippaverse Code of Ethics, you've got the character box, then you've got Defender of the Cosmos, Born Beyond the Stars, the most powerful force in the universe. We definitely got a really big hint of just how powerful Zalen is in this first book. Then, of course, you got Tala Bong and the mighty Zalen. So there is that. And then next we have Joe Bennett's cover. This is the foiled and embossed cover. This is, of course, covered by Fabio Jansen. You can see, I'm not sure if you guys can see there, but you've got the little, I guess, signatures on like a little celestial body there. But this is a really nice shot of Zalen. This is, of course, Joe Bennett's cover. He's a fantastic artist, interior and covers, and this really highlights just how good of an artist he is. And then finally, but last but certainly not least, this is the wraparound cover. So this is cover D. This is the mass print cover drawn by the art director for the Rippaverse, Kanan White. And of course, he is a fantastic artist. And I have this out of its bag and board just to show off the wraparound. Absolutely beautiful wraparound cover. Really, really cool to see a wraparound cover, and especially having it be the mass print cover. And this is just a really epic shot of something that actually does happen in the comic, but I don't want to spoil it too much since people are still getting it. But I'm going to go over the misprints for Zalen. So this is a really minor issue. This is one that when I reviewed it, I didn't notice it because I was really mesmerized by the fantastic art. And of course, it has to do with the endings or pages. So for pages like this, where the ending is just white, you're not going to notice it, right? But really the issue happens is with these double page spreads. And we'll move this post-it note. And if I can show off here, it's a bit hard to see, but what it is that you have the page printed twice. So I'm not sure, if you guys can see right there, you see the leg of the alien is printed twice. And then you'll see this more with other pages. This is what Eric showed off when he was addressing this on Monday. You see Zalen's belt is printed twice. You see like there and then there. So the two-page spread isn't contiguous. So it looks a little bit off, but you got to look at it really close. And if you're reading it where you don't have the spine of the book, fully flat, which I know a lot of people do not like to have the spines of the books be fully flat, then you're not going to really notice it. And for most pages like this, where you've got the single pages where it ends with the white, or ends like that, it's not something that really is noticeable. So it really gets noticeable, and I'll show off one more page spread. It's definitely much more noticeable here. You can see the arrow right there. So this is honestly really minor. Although, of course, it's something that if you do find it to be too egregious, you can, of course, get the book returned. You won't have to pay for return shipping. You just submit a ticket with the Rippaverse, and then they'll take care of you, and you can get the books refunded. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing reprints of A to C. They're, of course, going to get the mass print cover, which is this one, as I just showed off, done by Kanan White. Absolutely fantastic. We'll zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. But if you want to be absolved from owning the books with errors, you can get a refund, although sending out new copies for covers A to C, I'm not sure if they're going to do that. And of course, there's this conflict where You can reprint all of them, but of course it makes them less limited. So with all these being misprinted, the fact that they are misprinted doesn't make it as rare of a collectible where, let's say, only 100 of these have this misprint and then the other, let's say 10,000 or so, however many copies are perfectly okay. But we'll see how the collector market responds to this, and with how young the Rippaverse is, really speculating on these comics as collectibles is, I think, a bit too early. But it is certainly a fun thing in terms of the long-term collectability of Zalen, What Kills Must Die. But regardless of that, this is a really good introduction to the character of Zalen. There's just so much that that Chuck Dixon was able to establish with this character, even if he doesn't link it to the Rippaverse as well as or really at all. There's just so much world building on the cosmic scale that can easily be tied into with other books, and hopefully Chuck and Joe get the green light to do at least a mini-series for Zalen. That's my takeaway, even with this very minor printing issue, which shouldn't have happened, but I think with the offer for refunds, and then of course the 60% coupon for anybody who bought Zalen, even if you choose to refund the book, I think is about as good as they can get with repatriating people who did buy this book. But we are going to talk about the artist for Zalen, What Kills Must Die. Of course, the first art book for the Rippaverse was in Joe Bennett's art, so the Art of Joe Bennett, and this was covering his work on Alpha Core, which was, of course, a fantastic book, Alpha Core #1. Waiting for Alpha Core #2. We're going to get something next week, and I know it's not going to be Alpha Core #2. Very disappointed on that, but to be expected. So hopefully we get Alpha Core #2 soon. But to hold us over, we were getting the Art of Joe Bennett, and this is going to cover Zalen. And of course, this is a really epic one-page spread of Zalen that shows up very early on in the book. And this is also preview art when we first got the character revealed to us. So this is the back here. So we'll get to dive deep into the awe-inspiring worlds created by Joe Bennett, one of the most exciting, beloved, and groundbreaking artists working today. Taking influences from many of the greats that came before him, Joe Bennett unleashes his very own unique style into the Rippaverse, making for eye-popping action, exhilarating battles, jaw-dropping environments, and outstanding original characters with true, lasting power. With a flair for the fantastic, Joe Bennett unveils cosmic beauty and unbelievable creatures as we take a closer look at Zalen, the first intergalactic superhero of the Rippaverse, and then thrusts into the gritty, blood-splattered city patrolled by the ruthless horsemen as he takes on mobsters, criminals, and drug dealers. Joe Bennett has proven there is no genre that he has not mastered, and this very special peek behind the curtains allows fans to see the process of each panel as every story is brought to life with genius observations and commentary by longtime collaborator Fabio Jansen, teamed with the legendary writer Chuck Dixon. Joe Bennett has cemented himself easily as a titan in this industry who has incredible passion for his art, which leaps off of every single page. Joe Bennett is a master of his craft, and this very special Art of Joe Bennett book takes readers on a ride through the influences, choices, and compositions of two of his most dynamic books with Rippaverse, Zalen, and The Horseman. So I'm going to get right into this because this is definitely probably the thickest art book that I've seen. Of course, they started putting the Rippaverse ethic in these art books. So we've got, let's see, a tribute to Jack Kirby, the creative world. So Jack Kirby wasn't just an artist, he was a visionary. Through bold lines and psychedelic bursts of color, he shaped universes where gods walked among mortals and the impossible became commonplace. The creator of modern mythologies, Kirby didn't just draw comics, he crafted sagas that spanned generations, taking the reader's imagination to unprecedented heights. He did this while also serving as a primary influence on other great artists who followed him. Figures of great importance and visual impact, whose work continues to reflect his influence to this day. Names such as Jim Steranko, Steve Rude, Walter Simonson, Neil Adams, Bruce Timm, and many others stand a testament to Kirby's lasting legacy. Under the light of this titanic influence, Kirby's impact has also reached Joe Bennett. Kirby is the inspiration behind everything Joe has built over his 30-year career. Joe knows how to depict action scenes with power, dynamism, and elegance, reproducing the perpetual motion of Kirby's storytelling, transforming comics into a dynamo of energy and giving the reader a fully immersive visual experience. And that, my friend, Joe owes to King Kirby. Then along comes Zalen, a multiversal trailblazer whose essence reflects the daring spirit that an entire career's repertoire calls for, inspired by the King's fascination with cosmic forces and the eternal clash between good and evil. Zalen is a hero in the best space opera tradition, a loving homage to comics like John Carter of Mars, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Atari Squadron, and of course, The New Gods. Joe's influences are evident in every stroke of this new project, the grandeur of the settings, the dynamism of the battles, and the depth of the universe that is both epic and deeply human. Like Kirby, Joe explores the frontiers of the unknown with Zalen, carrying forward the legacy of a storyteller who taught the world that the only limit to creation is the mind of the artist. Joe has crafted a tribute to his great master, carrying on Jack Kirby's visionary legacy through his work, and in doing so, he becomes a master of storytelling in his own right. Welcome to the cosmic side of the Rippaverse. Very nice. We got Horseman Welcome to Florist Park, created by Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett. Horseman is an urban hero marked by pain, loss in the pursuit of justice, and a world drowning in corruption. A former Iraq war veteran, he returns to his hometown, Florist Park, hoping to rebuild his life and care for his sister and nephew. However, upon arriving, he finds a city overwhelmed by violence and corruption, where institutions seem to serve the powerful rather than protect the people. Inspired by characters like the Punisher and DC's Checkmate, Horseman is a relentless and enigmatic figure. Through his sense of morality, though his sense of morality was forged in a turbulent past, he doesn't hesitate to act when justice is needed. His battle goes far beyond ordinary crime. He takes on a network of systemic corruption where politicians, police, and mobsters operate like an impenetrable machine. His story carries the gritty atmosphere of 1980s mafia comics, constantly challenging the boundary between right and wrong. Armed with a battlefield-honed skills and a lethal arsenal, Horseman is a vigilante determined to cleanse the streets of Florist Park, regardless of the means. Yet behind his ruthless quest for vengeance lies a deep responsibility to protect his family, his sister and nephew, in an increasingly hostile world. His journey is one of redemption and sacrifice, confronting not only corruption, but also the demons of his past as he tries to save those he loves. He finds himself constantly on the brink of personal and mortal ruin, questioning the limits between justice and revenge. With a tense atmosphere reminiscent of 1980s mafia comics, Horseman is more than a hero. He's a reflection of the society he seeks to save. With all of its flaws and contradictions, with no superpowers, he stands against the most powerful forces in his pursuit of justice, no matter how dark or complex that path may be. So that's a pretty good introduction right there. You can see this is the original two-page spread, and of course, these are the pencils. Absolutely fantastic. So we begin with an exciting double-page spread, preparing the reader for what to expect in the cosmic universe of the Rippaverse, conceived by Chuck and Joe, along with Kirby's influence and his boundless imagination. The world of John Carter, created by Edgar Rice Burroughs in a Princess of Mars, also serves as a key reference for the artist, enriching the visual experience. Notice how the design of the creatures reflects the style of the monsters drawn by Gil Kane in Marvel's John Carter, Warlord of Mars comic series, launched in the late 70s. The desolate landscape of a devastated alien planet serves as a starting point for an adventure that blends the best elements of fantasy and science fiction from various eras into a modern and innovative form. The reader is invited to explore this world, where the laws of physics, morality, and survival are challenged in unpredictable ways. Through the fusion of classic influences and Joe's artistic innovation, the universe of Zalen unfolds, offering an immersive and unforgettable experience for comic book fans, whether they seek cosmic adventures or a deeper exploration of the nature of existence. I always love the more, philosophical ways of exploring the universe, right? So we've got the next page, so this one right here, hopefully you guys can see it. The richly detailed page that transports us to a moment of imminent tension. Here Joe channels his narrative energy into the expressiveness of the characters and the brutality of the conflict. The alien creatures that fill the frames are a visual feast, with designs reminiscent of Bernie Wrightson's grotesque forms and the almost biomechanical detailing of artists such as H.R. Geiger and Arthur Adams. The decoupage follows a cinematic crescendo. We begin with the threat in all of its chaotic glory, then move closer to the details, razor-sharp teeth, weapons of unknown technology, and close-ups that capture the moment before the explosion of violence. The transitions between frames are fluid and editing worthy of the best science fiction thrillers. Absolutely fantastic. And then in the final frame, the perspective opens up again as Zalen, a lone figure of oppressive structure, as Zalen is a lone figure against an oppressive structure, an adversary straight out of a nightmare. His position within the frame echoes the classic iconography of heroes facing impossible odds, like John Romita Sr. Spider-Man or Sal Buscema's Hulk. The play of light and shadow in the pencil strokes adds even more depth, tension, and drama to the scene. This page sums up what makes Zalen and the Rippaverse such a powerful experience. Every detail is imbued with narrative intent, and every line drawn carries a story. The reader doesn't just witness the scene, they feel the imminence of the impact, as if they were there, about to be swallowed up by the next instant. I definitely agree. It's extremely immersive. That's the reason why I didn't notice the errors. It's just because it just really grips you. So we're on this page right here. And of course, this pencil work is just absolutely fantastic. The raw energy of this page jumps out at you, delivering the full intensity of cosmic action at its peak. Joe constructs a scene of controlled chaos where every stroke enhances the sense of impact and urgency. The dynamic layout with sloping, overlapping panels invokes the best of Jack Kirby, but there's something more here, an anatomical, visceral, and raw power that only an artist with Bennett's experience could bring. Every element of composition guides the reader's eye effortlessly. The lines of movement, the structural destruction of the environment, and the powerful gestures of the creatures set the stage for a titanic confrontation. The richness of textures and weather and the wreckage of the ship, the musculature distorted by brute force, or the ferocity of the expressions pays tribute to the school of masters such as Neil Adams, who transformed the figuration into an expressive and narrative art form. Beneath this visual explosion, Chuck Dixon's script gives rhythm to the action, allowing the page to breathe at just the right moment so that the reader can absorb each fragment of destruction in furious motion. The impact is immediate, like a frame from a science fiction blockbuster where practical effects and state-of-the-art CGI merge to create something unforgettable. But here, there's no CGI, only the sheer power of imagination translated into ink, making the adventure explode off the page and reminding us why the ninth art remains the greatest canvas for the impossible. Absolutely love this. There's just so much detail here. This is definitely a pretty important scene for the first book. Of course, we got another epic double page spread. There's just so much detail in the way Joe draws. The backgrounds, I think like this is mostly the background with a little focus on Zalen here. But this double page spread presents a grand and striking scene where the vastness of the space is depicted with intricate details that evoke classic science fiction imagery. A colossal spaceship with monumental proportions dominates the background, its futuristic architectural line suggesting a highly advanced technological structure. The ship's design recalls a futuristic aesthetic, drawing from Flash Gordon and Bronze Age comics, such as the bold technological ships designed by Walt Simonson from Battlestar Galactica. The fusion of organic and metallic elements along with chrome surfaces and punctured details reveals sophisticated machinery and colossal engineering, both robust and elegant in form. Zalen, flying near the spaceship, is a central and dynamic figure. He appears in the foreground, creating a dramatic contrast with the grandeur of the ship. His posture with an outstretched arm and eyes fixed on the immense vessel conveys both courage and fascination. With the universe's vastness, he is not just a traveler, but a fearless explorer, a hero immersed in his mission. The double page spread defines a visually stunning science fiction universe, firmly placing it within the pantheon of genre classic. It evokes the essence of Star Trek, Flash Gordon, and Bronze Age comics, where the immensity of space and the grandeur of spaceships provides a stage for an eternal struggle, one of survival in the timeless battle between good and evil. Next, we've got this one that's on the cover. Really nice to see the raw pencils on this. This Zalen scene provides a striking composition with Zalen floating at the center of the page, observing the chaos of outer space. The hero's figure is positioned to create a strong sense of depth with enhancing the exceptional sense of movement. In the best tradition of powerful and contemplative characters, true agents of chaos like Adam Warlock and the Silver Surfer, Zalen remains imposing and haughty. and haughty in the face of annihilation. Joe's drawing showcases his dazzling style with strokes and close-ups reminiscent of Jack Kirby, Neil Adams, and John Buscema. The armor is richly detailed, rendered with textures and patterns that add depth to the image. The ships in the background also feature intricate details that enhance realism and contribute to the epic blockbuster scale envisioned by the creators in this incredible project. Zalen appears as a distant observer, a cosmic zenith, accustomed to chaos and destruction. The physicality establishes him in the reader's mind as a powerful yet isolated figure, possessing a unique perspective on the world around him. The composition, lighting, and hatching in Joe's artwork comes together to create a scene that is both beautiful and terrifying. So, absolutely fantastic commentary there. We've got this next scene here. If Zalen's cosmic action is impressive, it's because of the construction of his world and characters is truly meticulous, drawn on various sources and the best work that came before. This page is a perfect example of Joe Bennett's mastery, balancing detail and fluidity with the character designs reminiscent of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's iconic Atari Force. His influence is evident in the construction of the figures, the refinement of the costumes, and the way each character exudes personality, even without saying a word. The central panel steals the show, highlighting Zalen's imposing presence alongside his team. His sculpted, almost mythological physique invokes the heroic canons of classic comics, while the feline alien Bong carries the poise of a veteran warrior. His costume full of mechanical and utilitarian details that convey both history and function. The female character Tala, on the other hand, blends sensuality and strength, wearing a costume that wouldn't be out of place in one of the great space sagas of the 70s and 80s, characteristic of Bennett's dynamic yet modern style. The environment is also noteworthy. The futuristic architecture, full of angles and geometric shapes, recalls the clean, functional style of classic science fiction, somewhere between Wally Wood and Mobius, creating a solid, immersive setting. The choice of frames at the beginning and end of the page enhances the cinematic tone of the layout, first focusing on a character reaction and then widening the view to a broad shot where the trio walks like protagonists of a space epic. Each frame serves a precise narrative function, revealing more about the characters and their interactions without relying on unnecessary exposition. The result is a visual narrative, courtesy of the masters, that transports the reader directly to the heart of the Rippaverse. Very nice commentary there. On another two-page spread. In this double-page spread, we witness yet another display of Chuck and Joe's influences shaping Zalen's universe. The intricate depiction of advanced technology bridges the past and the future science fiction comics, the work of Wallace Wood and EC Comics classics such as Weird Science Fiction, alongside elegant futurism of Ron Kopp's interior designs for the Alien film series, explodes into life through Joe's masterful illustrations. Creating an immersive, space-faring world requires both research and talent. Research to draw upon a vast arsenal of ideas and inspirations that pay tribute to the greats. The talent to craft compelling narratives and stunning artwork that instantly captivates readers. This is the foundation of a new mythology within the Rippaverse. The characters move with grace and nobility within this advanced technological structure envisioned by Chuck and Joe. This fusion of fantasy and science fiction dazzles largely because the hero's unwavering sense of justice, matched by impactful writing that reflects their cosmic nature. The breathtaking artwork translates the complexity of Zalen's world into visually perfect lines. This is a really epic two-page spread, and of course you've got all the panels on the bottom that help add to the characterization. And we've got another really epic page spread here with some panels on the left. The grandeur of graphic narrative reaches its apex in this double page spread, where Joe Bennett channels the pure spirit of cosmic comics in its most powerful form. The layout amplifies the impact of the scene, with Zalen's figure dominating the space, evoking all the strength and heroism the genre demands. The composition is reminiscent of Jack Kirby's iconic scenes, where each character seems larger than life, transcending the limits of the page to attain a mythological dimension. The smaller panel builds up the progression of the action, leading the reader to witness Zalen's ascent until the final moment when he breaks through the barrier of the page to face a colossal challenge. The exaggerated perspective, dynamic motion lines, and tilted scenery heightens the sense of weight the sense of weight and urgency, a technique mastered by legends such as John Buscema and Gil Kane, who knew exactly how to capture the impact of an epic moment. Joe belongs to that lineage. The cosmic backdrop with planets and stars rendered in precise strokes recalls the beauty and mystery of the universe, something the master Al Williamson always translated so well in his illustration, yet Bennett's signature style remains unmistakable, a superb anatomy that exalts the sheer physicality of his characters, every tense muscle, every fold in the costume, every expression charged with determination and effort. All of it reinforces the intensity of the scene, bringing a sense of realism that makes the impossible feel possible. Chuck Dixon allows the image to speak for itself, knowing that on pages like this, the visual impact carries the story forward. The authors don't hold back on their ambition and this scene is definitive proof that comics will always be the natural territory for top-notch action and science fiction. So here we got so much more to go on with this. So this is yet another two-page spread, basically highlighting all of them. There's so many two-page spreads in Zalen. So this double-page spread masterfully portrays the grandeur of what Zalen represents in a universe where justice is served in blood and the quest for order is a never-ending saga. His haughty yet tormented figure is reminiscent of the internal and cosmic conflicts faced by Jack Kirby's unforgettable creation, Orion. In the New Gods saga, Chuck and Joe aim for the best and hit the nail on the head. The character's anatomy, who finds himself facing powerful enemies and at the same time as both hunter and hunted, evokes even Renaissance artists who understood the powerful impact of realistic details on the minds of art admirers. The immortal reference to Kirby's work is a foundation for Chuck and Joe's work, whether in the relentless actions, the concepts of technology, or especially the sense of nobility and justice, which have reverberated in the comic book universe since the King took the crown of the greatest superhero artist of all time, passing through the New Gods, admiring the brilliance of Jim Starlin and his unforgettable cosmic sagas. The creators of Rippaverse are heirs to the tapestry of artists who carry the legacy forward and beyond. So fantastic, just showing that artwork off like that. Absolutely lovely. Yet another two-page spread here. This double-page spread introduces the epic encounter between Zalen and the intergalactic monster Solo. Stands out for its sheer grandeur and an overwhelming sense of horror that spills from every line and composition of the creature. It directly recalls the work of the Japanese production company Toho, while also carrying the DNA of Jack Kirby's early career while he was still crafting massive otherworldly creatures like Orgo, Monsteroso, and Fing Fang Foom before revolutionizing comics with Marvel's heroes. Gazing at this monster, one can feel the soul of the kaiju that so profoundly shaped Japanese pop culture, while its robust form and geometric shapes evokes Kirby's creations, tracing back as far as the unforgettable Giganto, which graced the cover of the historic Fantastic Four #1. Bennett's masterfully translates the sheer immensity of this creature into his art. Every muscle of the beast seems to pulsate with life, its monstrous form brimming with tension, making the reader viscerally feel the magnitude of the threat. The fusion of organic elements with the alien nature of the creature exudes both inventiveness and primal force. The epic movements of the creature creates a narrative that not only enriches the action, but also immerses the reader in the tension and impact of each critical moment. The grandeur of the fight is conveyed in a simple yet immersive way, showcasing Bennett's gift for translating Dixon's text into pure visual energy. With a refined technique worthy of the great masters of comics, this page not only pays homage to the legends of the past, but also redefines what can be achieved with sequential art. Here, the inspiration draws from Kirby, Toho, and other icons of the genre is more than just a tribute. It is a fusion of influences transformed into a bold and unique expression of space adventure. Zalen not only offers us a window into a universe of possibilities, but also makes us believe that in the world of comics, the page can be a grander and more expansive canvas than even the most spectacular effects in cinema. Oof, that was a lot to read. But we're going on. Onwards and upwards, more double page spreads, because Joe's just got so many of these, and he's just so good. Just all the detail. You can just see, Marcos on live stream yesterday was talking about how easy it is to color his work. He just got such great detail. It's just the way he can render everything, the backgrounds, the characters, foreground. But we'll go into this commentary from Fabio. This stunning double-page spread offers the reader a clear vision of Zalen's power. His uniform reflects the influence of the Silver and Bronze Ages, modernized through a seamless fusion of Jack Kirby's dynamic superhero designs and Jim Starlin's cosmic aesthetic, as seen in characters like Warlock and Gilgamesh. Joe Bennett's work is on full-on display here, showcasing his unparalleled ability to depict grand-scale action scenes with the dynamic energy and exceptional command of anatomy. This elevates him to the pantheon of the genre's greatest artists, translating Chuck Dixon's masterful comic book storytelling into a visual epic worthy of Hollywood's biggest blockbusters is no easy feat, but here, everything flows effortlessly. This composition masterfully guides the reader's eyes through the narrative. It is the result of refined technique honed by artists at the peak of their creativity, conceiving a space adventure as it should be, unrestricted, boundless, and open for fans to imagine. What would a Zalen movie be like with an unlimited budget for special effects and intergalactic action? No need to wonder. Zalen and the Rippaverse bring that vision to life, inspired by the lessons of Kirby, Wood, Starlin, Wrightson, Williamson, and many more who enrich the eighth art form. This comic proves one thing: comics are a limitless canvas, one as grand, if not grander, than cinema itself, delivering an unparalleled spectacle to the reader. Absolutely fantastic. This impressive double-page spread, we got this one right here, we got Zalen right in the corner there, and it's really focusing on this massive tech that's just invading. You can even see it's starting to destroy the planet. This impressive double-page spread by Zalen is Joe's tribute to the days when Jack Kirby drew his monumental scenes in 4 and the Fantastic Four. Since the Silver Age, sequential art has sought to capture the sense of colossal scale. Here, Bennett masters the tradition with a composition that mixes brutalism and opulence, invoking Jim Starlin's intergalactic mega-constructions and the architectural precision of Mobius. The centerpiece of this scene is a titanic structure that seems to exist beyond space and time, fusing technology and mysticism with an iconography reminiscent of the cosmic empires of the Eternals and New Gods. Each line of Bennett's pencil carries kinetic energy, whether in the inclined angles that suggest an oppressive weight, or in the detailed texture that lends an almost tactile realism to the environment. The scale is overwhelming, but never excessive. Each element is positioned to guide the reader's gaze without distracting it. Zalen in the background appears small against the immensity of the setting, but his expression is one of determination. His flowing cloak, the line of movement are reminiscent of classic heroism of masters such as John Buscema and Neil Adams in the way the figure is integrated into the composition. The narrative flow of the pages is masterfully conducted, highlighting every detail before the imminent action. It's not just an epic illustration, it's an example of what makes comics a unique medium. The fusion between Chuck Dixon's text and Joe Bennett creates a spectacle that could only exist on the printed page. The reader not only observes the scene, they are absorbed into it, eager to get to the next page and discover the secrets of this cosmic colossus. Definitely agree with that there. We got this one here. So this visually mesmerizing universe, the visually mesmerizing universe created by Joe for Zalen, gives readers a complete experience, one where in a double-page spread like this, his vast range of influences is fully evident, from Alex Raymond's immortal Flash Gordon and Forever People to the conceptual genius of Star Wars designer Ralph McQuarrie. Every element is meticulously crafted. Chuck and Joe understand that fans of comics, fantasy literature, and science fiction cinema expect spectacle, and they deliver beyond expectations, forging an exhilarating cosmic mythology. The intricate spaceship designs are another testament to Joe's artistic brilliance, drawing inspirations from both comics and film. He integrates the most captivating ideas to fuel fans' imaginations. Among his influences is Sid Mead, the legendary artist behind Blade Runner's visionary concept art. As a result, Every page exudes not only a deep respect for the legacy of past comic book artists, but also a cinematic atmosphere embedded in every pencil stroke. In a space action scene that demands technical skill, composition, narrative depth, and above all, the ability to invoke pure excitement, one name stands out: Joe Bennett. He is the blockbuster artist the Rippaverse deserves. Definitely agree with that. And next, so next we are going on to the Horseman. So this is going to be art from the Horseman. Now, this is of course one of the first pages from the Horseman, the first double page spread of the Horseman. Absolutely fantastic. So this double page spread introduces us to the character Horseman battling a gang of masked thugs atop a high-speed train, a scene straight out of Chuck Dixon's playbook. Dixon often creates villains wearing animal-themed masks, invoking martial arts culture. This element is a signature of Dixon's scripts, as it adds a psychological layer that makes the villains feel more primal and menacing. While the hero, in contrast, maintains a more human and strategic approach, Joe Bennett's artwork shines in the scene, showcasing his unique talent for drawing fast-paced cinematic action. He uses dramatic angles, intense expressions, and dynamic poses to create a continuous flow of movement, making the scene feel alive and full of energy. The composition of the panels paired with the rhythm of the fight conveys a real sense of speed, danger, chaos, all essential elements of a great action sequence. Bennett is a master at capturing the tension and impact of each blow, using visual details like wind distortion and body movement set on top of a train. The scene takes full advantage of the environment to intensify the confrontation. Bennett's cinematic style makes the reading experience immersive, turning a straightforward fight into a thrilling visual experience, further cementing his place as one of the greatest action artists in comics. Definitely agree with that. So we're moving on to the next scene. So we're on this page right here. We all know this moment well, whether in comics, cinema, or literature. It's a second before hell is unleashed on the criminals, the instant when we hear weapons being cocked, glass shattering, and the imposing vigilante storming the villain's hideout. In all three forms of media, Dixon has proven experience. He knows how to craft these storms of action that elevate the classic tale of good versus evil. And with Joe and I don't exactly know that word. And a state of adventure comics at his side doesn't get much better than this. The Horseman is about to strike with violent force in the spirit of the finest vigilante in comics. Yeah, I got really hung up on that word. I apologize. So we're on to this page next. So the Horseman is the pinnacle of Chuck Dixon's experience writing classic vigilante stories, something he's done with brilliance and excellence in The Punisher and Batman. One of the greatest action scene artists of the last 30 years, Joe Bennett, and you have the formula for a dark urban comic like we haven't seen in a long time. A street-level hero who confronts crime head-on. Think of vigilantes like Night Thrasher and multiply that to the nth degree. The choreography of this fight scene borrows from the best of 80s and 90s action cinema. Think Commando, Rambo, Cobra. This is Rippaverse bringing action back home where it always belonged. Definitely agree with that. The action scene in The Horseman is just so well drawn. Of course, that really is Joe. And this is, another 2-page. He has all these 2-page spreads, and he's just like every single time Joe Bennett draws a 2-page spread, he just knocks it out of the park. Especially with Zalen, it's like so many 2-page spreads, and that's what really draws you in to reading the book more so than his other books, and that is saying something. If you thought Dixon's police action masterpieces like The Punisher, War Journal were his peak, think again. In The Horseman, he surpasses himself with explosive confrontations featuring a protagonist who checkmates crime with every strike. Joe unleashes his whole artistic arsenal to deliver devastating action, as shown in this double-page spread. The use of a Dutch angle shifts the camera, quote, framing the heightened vertigo and maximum tension, plunging the reader into the best that two masters of urban adventure can achieve. So we got another spread here. No great action saga is complete without truly vicious villains, and in this regard, Chuck and Joe once again outdo themselves, creating Sturm and Blitz, drawing on references from WWE giants like the iconic baddies of the 80s video games like Final Fight and Streets of Rage, and the bloodthirsty fury of villains from films like Mad Max and Commando. The creators knew that a menacing megalomaniac look is essential for the hero to traverse a gauntlet of sweat, blood and shatterbones to deliver his brand of urban justice. This confrontation won't be easy to witness, but in the hands of the Rippaverse creators, a bout of destruction is guaranteed. And love Sturm and Blitz. Hopefully they appear more in this book, and of course, or yeah, hopefully they make more appearances in Horsemen, or at least the Rippaverse in general. I just love the characters, and this is ridiculous. The amount of detail, especially in the backgrounds, like God, and this is just the raw pencils. This is before the inking. So in an unexpected setting like a bowling alley becomes the perfect stage for an explosion of action, sensuality, cyberpunk, and pulse-pounding adventure, drawing influences from DC's Checkmate Squad to the action epics that Hollywood executed so well during the golden age of action heroes. Chuck and Joe throw it all into the blender, delivering readers a visceral 21st century experience of how a true urban vigilante epic should be done in comics. If the artwork reminds you of the best of Kirby, Garcia Lopez, Paul Glossy, and Neil Adams, you're absolutely right. Joe takes no prisoners and knows no limits when it comes to the Rippaverse. I'm just so glad that Joe has just the ability to draw stuff that looks so fantastic. Just, they get the work done and get to do it, and they get the you basically just get this free reign to make stuff as awesome as this. But that is all of the commentary for this fantastic book, nearly 40 minutes long. It's probably one of the longest episodes of Braxcast I did. This is a lot of content because it's covering 2 books, Horseman Welcome to Forest Park, and of course, Zalen What Kills Must Die. Absolutely fantastic selections from this. And of course, just looking at Joe Bennett's raw pencil work and getting Fabio's commentary on why he does the things that he does in these details is really nice to see. And of course, Fabio Jansen was the inker for both of these books, so it makes the commentary feel even more relevant in that case. But that is all I have for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Joker is out. Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.